Welcome everybody. I am really excited for today's edition, The Tale of Two Traders. So I'm joined here with Sodi, and he is a professional trader. That's what he does. And me and Sodi met on a kind of a weird occasion where he had called in to actually speak about the money multiplier and what we do with these crazy, specially designed and engineered whole life policies. And you know, everybody has a different use. We're always trying to solve somebody's money problem. And Sodi really didn't have a money problem. And many traders don't have a money problem, except for they do have one. They always want to find a way to make more money easier and more efficiently. So Sodi, welcome to Solving the Money Problem.
Thank you so much, Chris. Excited to be here.
Me too. So, you know, this journey of this tale of two traders, begins with that call that we did where we started talking about what you were doing with your money before, and then one change that you wanted to make, and that one change was simply to start putting money into this specially designed and engineered whole life, but you had a different purpose. A lot of people will get into these plans because they want to pay off debt. They want to get all the money back for all the cars they're going to buy, drive, and own. There's so many uses, real estate and everything else, but you wanted to do something different. Can you tell me a little bit more about what it was that you saw when you first noticed the video that we put out on the money multiplier?
Absolutely. So yeah, I saw those videos. I heard your podcast, and I was very intrigued with the concept. But like a lot of the examples, I didn't have debt. I graduated out of college in May, so I didn't have debt or anything, luckily. And I just really thought that this concept makes so much sense. If you can buy a car, you can pay off debt, you can do all these amazing things. I'm sure there's some more other applications of it. As a trader myself, I started to think, I'm like, is it possible that you could use this policy as a fund to fund your own accounts? And if you can't, that would actually solve all the problem because you kind of just pay yourself, the whole cycle of the banking policy, you pay yourself interest, you use that money again, so the account continues to grow. So I was very curious, and I remember we scheduled that call, we got on that call, and I think that's where it all started. And we absolutely just, I think we found a new way, a new place to use this policy.
You know, what I think is so unique about this journey, this tale that we're going to get into here in just a moment is I have not I haven't seen this anywhere. I've not seen one person using their privatized banking policy the way that we're about to show people. I don't think this has ever been used this way. So I think it's incredibly unique, but also ingenious, really. I mean, traders are in the business of making money, whether it's day trading, swing trading, options trading, futures trading. I mean, you could go on and on from Bitcoin all the way down. It's all the same. A trader's job is to trade whatever security they're trading and make money off of that. But they only make money usually one time. Am I correct in that?
Yes, absolutely. You make a profit, and that's it, and then you pay capital gains on it. That's it.
And what you figured out and what we're going to talk about in your example is not just making money once, not making money twice, actually making money 3 different times, doing the exact same thing that you did before as a trader, doing the exact same thing without you working any harder, without you working any longer, and without you taking on any risk. And I think that's the most exciting thing. And I remember when we first did that call, I had already been using this in the same way that you were thinking of using this. So we're going to get into my story later, hence the tale of two traders. And I first want to go into your plan. So when we designed your plan, what was some of the key fundamentals on how we built this plan for you? Like, what were the things that you were looking for out of this?
Right. So I wanted to find a way to, be able to whatever I was putting in my trading account, find the right solutions. Hey, if I could put that into policy and have it run through that, so I would have access to all the most of the capital that I needed to trade. I was, like you said, earn making money 2 other ways on interest. So, and then I was able to trade comfortably, knowing that hey, at least my money is in that policy. And now that I'm trading, I can actually feed and grow my policy, which in return feeds my trading account again. So it really just became an exciting process because you realize that not only am I making money trading profits, I'm doing it on the way that the money is moving around, and I get to keep all of it. I don't have to go out to a bank to get a loan. I don't have to ask somebody else to fund an account. I can do it all by myself. And like you said, I worked no harder. I did exactly everything the same, and I control all of the money that I make.
Yeah, absolutely. And let's just because a lot of people still, if they're seeing this for the first time, maybe a new trader is watching this, they don't have the slightest clue what we're talking about. But they probably did hear me say that specially designed and engineered whole life. And at that point, they probably think we're crazy. They're like, wait a second, you want me to use a whole life? Because everybody I've ever spoken to said those are a terrible place to put money. So why is this very different than the traditional mindset of what people think? Because when we tell people that, they either think we're crazy, and maybe if they're smart, they think maybe they know something that we don't know. And I'll tell you, for any of you that watch this, we do know something that you don't know, and we're going to bring that to you right now. You see, this isn't a regular whole life. This is a very specially designed and engineered whole life. I know I said that before, but I mean that this time. It is not designed the same way that you have seen life insurance policies designed. This plan is designed to become your own private bank. And there's some very unique features that make this plan work for what we're going to explain as a trading machine, as a machine to fund your trading account. First off, before your money goes into the brokerage account, Sodi, where does it go first? Like you derive your money from trading, but let's just say a trader has got a job and they get a W-2 wage. Their money from their pay goes somewhere, and it's usually a traditional bank. Is that where your money used to go?
Correct.
And how much did your bank pay you?
Oh man, it's shameful to even think about it. Like it was 0.06% or something.
So the traditional bank, what was that again? Because that's a lot of point zeros.
0.05, 0.03. I've seen it hates to even look at it. I don't want to, you don't even want to think about that.
So your traditional bank was paying you 0.05. So what did you do? Tell everybody what you did. Because I mean, really this is designed to be looked at by other traders and also people that are looking at maybe trading is something I want to do. Maybe I want to day trade, swing trade, learn options, go through a different course to become, a professional trader. So what did we do different?
Yeah, so of course, rather than just letting the money sit there, lose its value, because of course I was getting no interest on it, plus inflation, it just made no sense. And then you usually use all your savings, hard-earned savings to, trade. So there's always that risk in your mind, like if I don't succeed, if I don't get the trades right, this is all my money in one place. So there's always that fear of that adds on to the trading where you're concerned, what if I lose the money? What happens? Like I'll lose all my savings, I gotta start over. So I think that also was very worrisome for me. But after our call, we decided, okay, let's see how we can set up the policy where I would basically just fund the policy and then run my money through it, where it earns, I believe, 4% interest, which is already higher than the traditional bank. So I'm already making money without even doing anything, just running the same amount of money that I was running before in my account, just running it through the policy. My bank is now earning about 4% already there. So that's already a growth. That's already appreciating, which is fantastic. So I'm already on my way to making more money.
So now that we just changed the name on the bank from their bank or the traditional bank to Sodi's bank, you're now making a guaranteed 4% interest. But that's not all you're making. What else are you making on this?
Right. So now from this policy, okay, I now have to take the money out. So I just need to fund my account. So whatever I needed, I took I think I took $10,000 for my first one. I took $10,000 out and I took it out for a loan for myself that I was going to pay back to myself.
So as you can see, we got the wheels on the bus going round and round is the theme here. So this was your bank, and your bank is getting 4% interest. So what we're going to do is the first bus, we're going to call this the loan bus. You take a loan from your bank, because if you went to somebody else's bank, you'd have to borrow money and take a loan from their bank. So you just took a loan from your bank, correct?
Right.
So we got 10 grand. Where did that 10 grand go?
So that 10 grand went into my brokerage account where it would have normally gone, but now it went through the policy.
So your 10 grand went over here. I'm just going to get rid of the two traders here just so we have some room. So your 10 grand went over here to your brokerage. Now, a lot of people might say, what is this right here? Because, we got this stop off in this segregated account. So all we do is, I don't care what business you're in, what you do, your money should always stop off at a bank account that you create. Not just any bank account, the bank account at your local bank, whatever bank you deposit your money in. But open a new checking account, one that has no other activity except for this banking activity. Therefore, now what you have, just like your brokerage account, if you're a trader, your broker keeps track of all your trades, your buys and your sells. This segregated account is nothing more than books and records. That's all it is, so that you know what money goes in and what money comes out. So your money came from your bank. So we started with $10,000. You put it in your little piggy bank here, as you can see. Okay, this is Sodi's bank. Put that money in, took that money out. How long did it take you to take that 10,000 out?
Oh man, like I was told it would take like a couple of weeks, but I think the money was immediately like in a week available. And yeah, I was surprised. I was like, wow, I didn't realize that quickly I could get it out.
Okay, so you made your deposit for 10 grand. 7 days later, your bus, okay, your loan of 10 grand is now moving, and that bus, that $10,000 loan that you took out, goes into your brokerage account. So now over here, we've got our money in our brokerage account. And I even went so far as to actually draw the logo of the brokerage platform that you use, which is Thinkorswim. So you now got 10 grand over here. So now what? Now what are we going to do?
Now, I was very curious. I was like, wow, I'm already making 4%. I haven't even started trading. So the pressure of, having to make a lot of return goes away because you already are making 4%. So I, being consistent, being very, moderate in my trading, I was making 10% a month on that $10,000.
So Sodi, in your brokerage account here, your goal is to make 10% per month on your trading, correct?
Correct.
Okay, so let me just bring everybody back to the beginning. Sodi changed one thing. He changed where his money went first. Now, before, his money was going into a regular bank account, earning 0.005. He changed that 10,000 to go into his bank, which is nothing more than a privatized banking policy, i.e., a specially designed and engineered whole life to work this way. He's going to make 4% on his money, on that 10 grand, plus he's going to get a dividend. So any trader would invest in a dividend-paying stock. Well, here you're not investing in a dividend-paying stock. You're putting your money in a mutually owned insurance company. Those insurance companies, because they're mutually owned, share with you as the policyholder in the form of a dividend. So you're not just making 4%. Do you remember what your dividend was in 2020?
I want to say about 2% something.
Yep, 2%. So if we did the math, 4 plus 2 is 6%. So your money is making a whopping 6%. That is, it's not quite 6 times what you were making in the bank account, but close. So we got the 10 grand here. We immediately, within the first 7 days, you took a loan of $10,000. This is our little wheels on the bus moving. It stops off here because you can't send the money directly from this bank directly to your brokerage, so we had to put it in a segregated bank account. Then from there, you deposit the 10 grand into your brokerage account. So this is what everybody's already doing. This is what you did before. You just didn't use your bank. You used somebody else's bank, correct?
That's absolutely true, yeah.
Cool. All right, so now that everybody's got that, now we got 10 grand here. You're making 10% per month on your trading activity. That's your target. Now what? What are we going to do now?
Right. So that's about $1,000 of cash flow a month. So as the concept, I've learned with you guys that it's important to pay back the interest of the policy. So I realized at 7% interest annually, I had to pay about $38 or $33, something like that in interest. I realized since I'm making so much cash flow, I pay $100 back to my policy every month in form of interest payment.
So now this bus here, we're going to change the name on this bus. This is going to be your recapture bus. I don't know why I came up with buses. I was just thinking wheels on the bus go round and round. And really what we're trying to do here with this system is move your money round and round and just have it keep making more money and multiply each time it goes around. It's kind of like, remember Monopoly? You're always trying to get yourself around the board and make more money each time. You're just doing it with little yellow school buses and dollars. So now we got $100 every month, which is coming out of the $1,000 you make in trading activity. We're taking $100, and that money is doing what?
So that's basically going through the segregated account back to, paying back the interest on the policy amount that I took out.
Okay, So then you're just going to take that money, and that money's just going to make it back into your policy. And I'm going to put this as a recycle, because all you're doing really, you're just recycling your own money. It's money you already made. So we're recapturing and recycling the money back into your bank at $100 a month. So this is pretty awesome. So not only this $100 that you're taking out of your trading, not only is that $100 a month immediately making it back in your bank, not somebody else's, so that you can use that money again, the whole time this is happening, the whole time, even when all that money left, right? You put the money in and you took the money out, even when it left, you were still making interest on this account. Can you explain that a little bit? Because I know we've talked about this a lot. I want to make sure that you fully understand why your bank can pay you interest on money that technically you already took out.
Yeah, no, of course. So, like right when I deposited the amount initially, I'm making the 4% right there plus the dividend. So that's already 6%. That before I even started trading, I'm making 6% a year. Now, when, after I took out the loan, I believe the loan is taken out at 5%. That being 5%, I realize I can pay back more than that. So why not? Because it's my own bank. Why would I not want to put more money? So tomorrow I have more money to take it out. So rather than, and taking your advice and how you guys educate everybody on this, rather than just paying the simple 5%, I went above and beyond and I added 7%. So now I'm making another 2% on that spread. So that's why that's 7. And actually the $100 payment is much larger than 7%, but I'm already making 2% extra in a loan spread. Whereas in a traditional bank, that amount, 5% would have just gone. I would have just paid somebody else and they would have made that money. But here, I'm the one making that 2%, spread.
Okay, so we picked up making 2% there. You're making 6% over here, okay? The 5% is already flush, so we already got the 5% that you got to pay the insurance company on the loan taken care of over here, because you're recapturing and recycling, I believe 7% annualized, so 7 minus 5 is 2%. And plus, you're now making, so we only, let's see, so you took $100 a month from this, so you're also making $900 on your trading activity. So you're making $900 trading.
That's an extra 9%. I was staggered when we did this calculation. I was like, it just got me so fired up. And that's just with just being consistent and conservative, 10% trading a month. That's I was just baffled by this concept.
Absolutely. And I don't know who wouldn't be baffled by this, because it didn't really require you to do a whole lot of work. All you did is you changed one thing. You changed who got to hold your $10,000 that you earned and that you were going to deposit in a bank anyway. You just created your own bank. You just said, you know what? I don't like the name on that bank. So you just put your name on the bank. And you basically created a bank with a mutually owned, dividend-paying insurance company. You did it by creating that vehicle, which is a specially designed whole life. And then all you did is you started up your little yellow buses. And you made the wheels on the bus move around and around every time you're picking up more and more money. So the next year when you do this and you deposit another $10,000 or however much you put in, you're going to do the same thing. But the next year, you're not going to have only the 10 grand in your account, because that 10 grand is now 10,600. So year 2, you're now working off of 10,600, because the 10,000 you deposited made 6% with dividend. So now you got 10.6. And then year number 3, you'd have 10.6 times 6%, and year 4 and 5. But I got your numbers right here, and they're pretty darn good. The first year you deposit $10,000 plus you put $28.80 in per year. Are you doing that all at once? Are you doing that monthly? How are you doing that?
I did it all at once.
Okay. So the first year you didn't deposit 10, you actually deposited 12,880. I was just trying to show the example, right? So 12,880. Then the next year you're depositing 2,880, and you're doing that every year, just on and on. So every year you're just going to basically keep marching this money around, but each year you pick up this $100 every month, you pick up this $900 plus whatever interest you earned on your money in your little piggy bank here, which that wouldn't be the right number. But yeah, that's phenomenal. Now, one thing I want to do is I want to help people understand something, because right now I'm sure you understand this, but I don't know if the traders that are watching this are fully understanding how is it that an insurance company can pay you interest and dividends on money that you take out. That just Sounds too good to be true. Is that what you thought when you first heard this?
Absolutely. I was like, how could that even happen? But just given everything that we talked about, all the examples and how you explain this concept, it made sense. And then of course when I tried it, when I did it myself, I'm hooked on this. Like this is every month I repeat this process. I continue to do this. I'm looking forward to the next policy to doing this because it's not too good to be true. It exists. It's right there, and it's fantastic, is what it is.
Yep, it is fantastic. It pays you 4% interest guaranteed. Okay, it pays you dividends each year, which right now are 2%. So you're making 6% on your money, which is fine, but a trader, that's not going to get them excited because they can make a lot more money in trading. So this gives you the ability to then take out that money. So we'll just use the 10,000 that you put in, okay? And let's just say we wanted to take that money out. Now you can take, it's not always 100% that you can take out immediately. As a matter of fact, it's never 100% you can take out. It's going to be 60 to 90%. So when we start the plan, we can take 60 to 90%. An example, your plan, you put $12,880 in, and you were able to take out $11,240. So let's actually just use your numbers to keep this nice and simple. You deposited $12,880. That was your annual deposit. You can take out 60 to 90%. So how much were you able to take out? $11,248. You guys can do the math to figure out how much that is of his deposit. So he takes that money out, and that money is taken out in the form of a loan. So now let me explain this. So now what you're doing is you're actually taking out a loan. But when I say loan, Sodi, what do you think of? Don't you think of a loan as something you have to pay back?
Correct.
Do you have to pay this loan back? Do you remember?
No, you don't.
And the reason you don't have to pay this loan back is because the insurance company made two promises. Number one, they made a promise to pay you 4% interest on your money. That was promise number one, contractual guarantee number one. Contractual guarantee number two that the insurance company promised is that someday when you die, I'm going to say when you graduate just to be nice, when you graduate, they promised to pay a death benefit. In your case, your death benefit is $633,000. So should something happen to you, which you're young, nothing probably will, but should it happen, they're going to pay $633,000. Now, when you took out this $11,248, the insurance company just on a computer screen, all they did is they just gave you some of your death benefit early. They literally gave you a loan against your death benefit. So all they did is they subtracted $11,248 from your death benefit, and then this is your loan. So essentially, if you started with $633, you took a loan against your death benefit for $11,248. And by the way, this loan for the insurance company doesn't require an application. They don't hit your credit score. You just click the button and the money hits your account. And then you now have a death benefit. If you pass away, your net death benefit is now $621,752. If you never pay back this loan for $11,248, all the insurance company does is subtracts it from the death benefit they're going to pay. They don't care if you pay this money back. But the thing is here's the reason that we should pay it back. They are going to charge us 5% simple interest on that money. So if they're charging us 5% on that money, it just makes sense to treat your money the same as you would treat the bank's money and pay yourself back, doesn't it?
Correct. Yeah, exactly. Why would you not want to pay it back?
I certainly would. So let's carry on. So then what you did, now that we've understood why the insurance company doesn't care if this money is ever paid back, so that loan doesn't have to be paid back. The other thing that people might be still confused on is how can the insurance company pay interest of 4% plus the dividend on the full deposit, which is $12,880, even when you took the money out? The answer is right in front of you. You didn't take your money out. You took a loan from the insurance company. So your money, your $12,880, never even left the comfort of its cozy little bed right there. It just stayed in there. And all it did is it just collateralized this loan. So your balance became collateral for your loan. And then all you're doing is you're taking that out, you're putting that in your brokerage account. Over here, you're going to make 10% per month. A lot of people would think that's 10% annual. Traders don't make 10% annual, folks. Traders make a lot more than that. Sodi's target is 10% a month in gain. Okay, so then all he does is he said, well, if 10% a month on $10,000, let's just use simple math, that would be $1,000. He's just going to take 100 of that 1,000, and what he's going to do with that 100 is he's going to send it back to his account. He's going to recycle and recapture some of the money he made, because even though that money could stay in his brokerage account, it makes more sense to get that 100 back over here so that he can keep moving it around the little wheel here. So if you look at this, really all you did, Sodi, is you put yourself in full control of every penny of your money. That's why I drew a steering wheel there. You're in control of your money, you're in control of your trading, you're in control of the interest you're making, and you're in control of using your money anytime you want. All you need to do is grab that wheel and drive your little yellow buses around this circle as many times as you can. Is there anything I missed in terms of what you're doing?
No, that's a lot for a lot of people as well. But just to me realizing, like you said, just changing one thing made me an extra 6% and then an extra 2%. That's an extra like 8%, annually. That's better than any high yield savings account. And all I did was just change one thing. Plus with that, with the $900 that I have left every month, I put it back into my brokerage account. Sometimes when I have a little bit saved up, I loan it out at another 10% interest to some people who need it. So now I have 900 positive cash flow that I can use to make more money. And I changed absolutely nothing in my trading practice. I did exactly the same, except I just ran the money through my policy.
Wow, that's incredible. I mean, it's really quite simple. I mean, there's a lot of things written on here, but it's not difficult. You start your money on one side of this wheel here. You move it over to the other side. This is where you make most of your money as a trader. You take a small piece of what you made and you move that money back over to this side, back into your little piggy bank. And that piggy bank, i.e. the machine, that's what we call these specially designed and engineered whole lives. We call them a machine, because all that piggy bank or that specially designed whole life does for you is it moves your money the most efficient way possible. Because unless any of you know of a better way and a better place to park your money that will allow you to use your money and continually keep earning uninterrupted compound interest, this just might be the best. And the other thing too that I want to go into real quick, Sodi, is I want to show the people watching this, the other traders and the viewers, your numbers. Is it okay if I divulge your information and your numbers here so that the people watching this can actually see what your numbers look like?
Yeah, of course.
Great. So if everybody looks at the numbers here, these are Sodi's numbers for his first policy. You see he put $10,000 in, we call that a dump in. And that dump in is just him moving money from his regular bank account into this account. That's all it is. And then the $2,880 is the amount he has the ability to put in each and every year thereafter up until the 10th year. And during that, you can see over here his projected cash flow, which I think this is pretty impressive, because if you put in year 2, you put in $2,880, and in year 2, you basically have $13,394 that's earning interest and dividends, plus you have access to $2,146. But if you look at yours, by year 3, and this is pretty common, by the time you hit the 3rd year, you're usually going to hit the efficiency point in your policy. And for your policy, Sodi, it's the same as many other policies. Year 3 is the time when every dollar you put into this plan, from that point forward, you will make more money than what you deposited. And in year 3, you put in $2,880, you can take out $2,952. The next year, you put in $2,880, the same amount, but you can take $3,206 out. And on and on. The 5th year, $2,880, and you can take out $3,372. So folks, if you're watching this, do you see what's happening here on the screen? Every year he makes the same deposit, but yet he can take out more money. This has nothing to do with his recaptured money. This has nothing to do with the money he's making on his trading. This has nothing to do on his spread, that 2% spread. This is just the policy making 4% plus dividends on a completely uninterrupted compound interest basis, meaning it doesn't matter whether he uses the money or keeps it in there, this money keeps paying him interest and dividends and compounding on itself. So all you're seeing is what Albert Einstein calls the eighth wonder of the world, uninterrupted compound interest at work. And he says those that understand it earn it. Those that don't, pay it. And then let's just go down. I mean, so you're young. By the time for 10 years from now, how old will you be in 10 years from now?
33.
So you'd be a whopping 33 years old. Sorry, I got to laugh at that. In 10 years, 33 years old. So at 33 years old, you put in 2880, okay? And then you have the ability to take out 4,268, which if we did the math, if we did the cash-on-cash return on that, year 10, that'd be a 48% cash-on-cash return on your money. But it gets even better because year 15, you can't put 2880 in anymore. You can only put $1,175. You're going to be upset that that's all you can be putting in, but in year 15, you put in $1,175, and you can take out $3,663. So $3,663 for a $1,175 deposit. That's a 211+% cash-on-cash return. And if you just go 5 more years, 20 years into this thing, you put in $1,175, you take out $4,835, that's 311% cash-on-cash return. The reason I show that, and I wanted everyone watching this to see your numbers, is these are your numbers. This is your policy. And every dollar that you take out of this plan, you're just going to trade in that trading account, and then you're just going to recapture that 7% or that $100, which is a little more than 7, and you're just going to keep doing this over and over. So I think this is fantastic.
Yeah, no, it was amazing to see these numbers, because I know it's one thing to look at the policy and understand the concept, but when you actually get these numbers from the company and you sit down and we had the conversation where we looked at those numbers, it was amazing to see how this policy grows, and to just think in terms of trading, that every year I'm able to add more to the trading account, I'm able to perform better, and I'm able to add back more to the policy, yet without sacrificing any returns I make, because again, I'm making $900 cash flow every month that I can use for other things. And I changed absolutely nothing except just run the money through my own bank.
Absolutely. Well, good job for that. And I'm sure this is going to be the first of many banking policies that you're going to create, because you'll max this plan out in no time. You'll be saying to yourself the same thing I did when I first started way back when, because I got you by a couple of years. Why didn't I start with more money? But you know what? When you start these, you start with whatever you can put in. And everybody watching this, I mean, he's putting $2,880 away per year. That's all he's putting into this. And he deposited $10,000 he had sitting in his bank account. And this is the result of what's going to happen for him. What would happen with yours? How much could you put away into your banking policy? That's your question, and that's for you to answer. But the most important thing is you got to take that leap and get started, folks. Just like Sodi did, just like I did many years ago, and I'm really excited, Sodi, because this is not the tale of one trader, this is the tale of 2 traders. So now we get to tell the story of what I did with my older policy, because I have a policy that I've owned for 14 years, if I'm not mistaken, that we used to do some trades back in March. And if anyone remembers March, that was right when COVID hit, the whole market fell apart, and it was a massive buying opportunity. And because I had these policies and I had that money sitting there in my own bank and I was in control, I deployed that money. So stay tuned, folks, because now you're going to hear the tale of the second trader, and you're going to see how I used my banking policy in March to make a trade that should get you excited. All right, Sodi, so we're back for the second part of the tale of 2 traders. Now, I know that you were just getting started and you started your first banking policy, but I've been doing this for a while. I have 7 of these banking policies, and one thing that I'm good at is privatized banking. But even though I came from Wall Street, did a lot of trading, and all the stuff that you do, I'm nowhere near as proficient as you are with trading. Like if I told myself I'm going to make 10% a month, I'd probably come up short. Well, you'll probably end up making 20% a month. That's the differences between us. So all I do understand about trading is I understand what Warren Buffett always says, and that is buy low, sell high, and don't lose money. And that's exactly what I've done very successfully. But I use my banking policy. So I have a policy that I've owned for almost 14 years now. And I've been moving that money around, you know, those my little wheels on the yellow bus move round and round, and they've been moving round and round for 14 years. But what I did is take a trip back in time in March. Do you remember what happened in March, Sodi?
Yeah, pretty much everybody was running for the hills, the end of the world. Everybody was calling the market decline. We saw 35% market decline.
Yeah, it was crazy. It was COVID hit, the president and the government shuts the country down, the stock market collapses, nobody could go to work, nobody left their houses, it was pandemonium. And most people remember that. It wasn't that long ago. I mean, we're just at the beginning of 2021 right now filming this. That was back in March, so it wasn't even a full year ago that this happened. And I remember watching this thinking, how low can you go? And I remember watching that saying to myself, all right, you know what? I watched individual securities and I had my eye on a couple of them because I liked them. I trade stocks that I like. And I remember seeing them just plummet. Everything was plummeting. I don't care if it's airlines, car, manufacturers, they was all just plummeting. So what I did is I just went into my account, my privatized banking account, no different than yours. Actually, it's the exact same account you have, except for it's 14 years old. And I remember it takes me about 3 minutes to click through and take a loan. So I clicked the loan, I took out $18,000. Why 18 grand? Because that's all I had in the account right then and there. The rest of it, that money was all moving around and around, right? I was already using that money. So here's what I did, and the reason I wanted to have you on this is you haven't seen these numbers, but I want you to kind of critique them. I want your opinion. As a professional trader, what would you have done if you could go back in time, take that little DeLorean back to March of 2020, and how would you have done these trades different? So let me show you what I did. I'm pretty excited about this, but you're going to look at this and be like, dude, I would have made thousands more percent than you. At least that's what I'm hoping you're going to say. So here's what I did. Back in March 2020, I took out a loan from this was at the time my 6th banking policy. So I had 6 of these policies, and I took out $18,000. I then sent that loan over to my segregated bank account. Nothing more than a regular bank account at the bank I go to, and all I did is I just deposited it there for books and records. I knew that that loan that I took was going to cost me 5%. So then what I did is I then moved that money into my TD Ameritrade account. And TD Ameritrade, what I did is, in my mind, I always want to pay myself back at a certain percentage, sometimes 6%. So let's just call it 7%. So when I took the money from my segregated account, I made kind of a deal with myself. It's kind of funny. I looked at myself in the mirror and I said, all right, Chris, I know you're lending me $18,000 from that really cool private bank you got. So what I'd ask is, can you lend that money to me at 7%? And then what I'll do is I'll just pay you back out of my trading returns. If I make returns, I'll give you 7%. Does that sound cool? And then the other side of that mirror looks back at me and says, you know what? Chris, it's costing me 5% to give you that money. So if you're going to pay me back 7%, we'll call it a deal. We reached through the mirror, we shook hands, and we said, cool, all right, man. And then all I had to do was go out there and make some money on this. So that's what I did. That's the moves that I made in my account. So here's the trades that I made. So on 3/23, these are right off of my TD account, I bought 6, and I know I should have bought a lot more. I only bought 6 because I'm like, I don't know. Is it going to go lower? So I bought 6 shares of a company called Tesla. Some of you may know of this company, Tesla. Here's your trade right here. So you can see TSLA. There's my 6 trades. There's my buy order. There's my date and time. Okay? 3/23, I bought 6 shares of Tesla for $415. Now, I know that's kind of funny. Everybody's looking at that being like, dang, man, I wish I could have bought Tesla at $415. But back then, I didn't know, was that a good price? It seemed like it was low, but it could have gone lower. It's like limbo. Can you go lower? How low can you go? Well, it was just going down. So that trade cost me $2,490. I held that trade for a long time in my eyes. I normally don't hold trades this long, but Tesla, when it hit the bottom, bounced. And you remember what happened with Tesla, right? It went from 415 to what? What was Tesla's high?
I think it touched almost $2,100 before it went for a 4-to-1 split, 5-to-1 split.
So you said it went to 2,100?
Almost, yeah.
And then was it a 5-for-1 or 4-for-1 split?
I think it was a 4-to-1 split.
All right, maybe it was 4 or 5, I can't remember. All right, so it went to 2,100, but I didn't wait till 2,100. I get nervous, man. I'm super conservative. So on 5/12 here, okay, so on May 12th, I said, you know what, I'm out. I took my 6 shares, I sold them at $832, and you can see exactly what I was doing here. So could you tell all the other traders watching, like, it's pretty simple. What was my math equation there?
100%?
Exactly, right? I went from 415, and I was trying to hit it at 830, but I got it out at 832, you know. I was trying to hit that 830, and then it went up to 832. I was kind of upset. You screwed my math up, darn it. And I sold out at $4,997. That was a $2,500 gain, or 100.7% increase. Not too bad. What would you have done? Like, if this was your account and you did the same thing, like, how would you have played this?
Definitely coming from, trading options for a long time and trading options professionally, I would have definitely taken a call at that point. I would have risked a lot lower, so the calls would have been a little bit cheaper. I would have gone, for people who understand the terminology, I would have gone out of the money, maybe like a couple $100. The calls would have been, $400, and I could have bought, at least for the same price, much more calls. That would have gone up maybe 200%, 250%, so almost doubling the return that you got.
All right, so Sodi's making the claim that he would have done the same thing, same stock, but he would have bought options, and he would have done a call option. And a call option is just the option that gives you the right to buy. Well, options are just the right to buy or sell a particular stock. So he would have bought the call option because he thought it was going up. That's what you do. If it's going up, you buy the call on this, and he would have made 250% return. So I don't care who you are out there or what you're looking at. Like, do either one of these returns suck? Not at all.
Absolutely not.
It's like, I'll take 100% any day of the week, but Sodi's 250 sounds really good. But the whole cool thing here is, remember, the first one that I did here, before we even got to this, you remember where this money came from? It came from my banking policy. And the one thing we didn't really hit on mine is my banking policy is 14 years old. Sodi, when we did your story, your tale, how much was your plan making cash on cash in the 14th year, or 15th year, I should say?
Oh my God, I think it was almost 311% or something.
It was only like 311%, right? So let's just pretend that mine was only making 200. I mean, people are going to look at this and they're going to say that doesn't even make sense, but it does. It's compound interest over 14 years. Just look up compound interest and what Albert Einstein says. The theory of this mathematical equation simply states this: those that understand compound interest shall earn it. Those that do not will pay it. Which side do you want to be on? I then called it the eighth wonder of the world. And he earned this interest inside of this specially designed and engineered whole life policy called privatized banking. To me, that should be the eighth wonder of the world. So if I was making 200% on my money here, and then I only had to give 5% away, darn it, I'm down to 195%. So I didn't make 100.7% on Tesla. I made 107 or 100% on Tesla, but I also made the money on my 18,000 the whole time it sat there, even though I was making money twice. I think that's the frickin' best part. But see, I didn't stop here. Why would you stop when you can keep going? I only bought 6 shares. I was mad when I sold that. So what I did then is I just kept watching it. And if you remember, in September, there was a little bit more movement in the markets. You remember September?
Yeah. We started, everybody was getting worried, like, oh my God, how are we back up already?
Yeah, we had that second round of COVID, or third, or whatever round it was back in September. But some things started happening. Things started shutting down again. We're like, oh my God, here we go again. So I'm like, yes, here we go again. So on 9/8, I decided I upped the ante a little bit. So here you can see Tesla. What I did is I bought 30 shares first on 9/8, okay? Bought 30 shares right here. Then I bought another 20 shares the next day because I just thought, man, I should have bought more. Why didn't I buy more? It's still going up. So I just doubled down. I paid $338 for this one, $348. Look at that. That's a $10 move in one day. Now, I know today with Tesla that would be nothing, but back then, that was a pretty good move for me. So I spent 10 grand the first day, 6 grand the second. That was almost all of my $18,000 that I had put in that trading account. And then I didn't wait long. I was super nervous. Remember I said I'm super conservative, and you probably wouldn't have done this, but I got cold feet, man. I took all 50 shares on September 21st, so I waited a little bit, but on September 21st, I sold all 50 shares at $423. And I'm like, dude, there's no way it's going to go any more than that. I'm just like, that's it. That's where we're going to go. So we're at 423. I made 21,000. But that's a $4,077 gain. You know, I made 23%. What would you have done?
Exactly the same thing like I told you last time. Exactly for that, because with call options, you can get a lot more leverage, a lot more exposure with less capital. So if you spend $16,000 on that trade, you could have probably still seen 100% increase in that same time. So 4 times the return on what you received on that trade.
So Sodi, knowing what he knows, would have leveraged it down using options, and he would have then done the same thing. He would have said, yep, it's going up, so I'm gonna take that call, because I'm gonna pick the phone up when the call comes in, and he's gonna basically ride that thing out and make 100%, and I only made 23%. Hey, this is the tale of 2 traders, right? That's why we're talking about my story. This is what I did, and Sodi, what he would have done. But, you know, that's again, not the complete story, because now we go one more. All right, Sodi, I hadn't had enough at that trade because I just watched this thing. Now this is September. This is that period of time, if I'm not mistaken, this is when it went through that whole split. Because I think it ran, just like the last trade I did, that was during the split too. I think it ran up and then, you know, got to like 2,100, then it split, which is how I got back down to this pricing. So on 9/24, I was back at it. 9/24, I bought another 14 shares at 380, 5,300. And then on 9/24, because I just didn't think I had enough here. So there's 24, okay? Both of these are on the same day. I don't know what the heck I was thinking. I'm looking at the times. Look at that, same time. So the market maker, I probably put the order in, but for some reason it filled twice. So I wanted 20 shares, and it just took 2 trades to do that. But those 2 trades, pretty much, you know, I missed it by a penny. I don't know why that happened that way. Sodi, can you explain, like, what do you think would have made this happen? Because most people looking at this would be, why wouldn't you have just bought 20 shares the first time?
Right. I'm pretty sure you put in the order for 20 shares and, you know, the market would have just changed its pricing by a few pennies here and there between the bid and the ask. So you got your initial 14 share fill first. And then when the price changed a little bit, the market filled, you got a little bit, the penny difference that we can see, and you got the remaining 6 shares then. So that's very common, but luckily you got filled at the close pricing. So it was still very good timing of the trade.
Good. So then I waited a whopping couple days, got nervous again, Mr. Nervous Nelly. I saw this thing go to 424. I'm like, there's just no way it's going higher than this. Tesla, I mean, how many people want Tesla cars and, you know, batteries and SpaceX? Are they really going to put man on Mars? And, you know, I'm thinking all this stuff. I'm like, all right, I'm out. And I sold out for $8,499. So that was an $894 gain. Right here's my closed transaction. And that was only an 11.8% increase. Are you going to tell me you would have done the same thing?
Absolutely. Maybe this time instead of 100%, that would have been a 50 to a 75% return. But hey, you know, nobody got hurt taking profits.
And I think that's the whole thing, you know, the whole Warren Buffett, buy low, sell high, and don't lose money. I know some people are going to watch this and be like, you're an idiot. You should have just held that first trade to 2,100. Those people that say you should have, you could have, you would have, are the same people that lose all of it because they don't know when to hold them and when to fold them. And unfortunately, I'm a little bit older. I'm way more conservative. I make a ton of money on the banking policies with other things. So my trading is just for fun. It's kind of like the sport, right? Like, you got professional anglers and professional fishermen that go out and like do that professionally. Me, man, I'm just going out there just to get some sun. Like, I'm just doing it as a hobby. This is a hobby to me. To you, this is your profession. Hence, the difference of 11.8 or 50.75%. But I don't really think it matters really either way. For anyone watching this, the thing you have to understand is all we did here with these two stories and these two tales is changed one thing in what we were doing. We're still trading the same way we always would. He's doing something different than I am, and we're both making money. The difference is, if this was you doing it the plain old way that you normally do it, you made money once, right there. I didn't make money once. I made money twice. Matter of fact, I actually didn't make money twice. Sodi, how many times did I make money?
3 times on the trade, 195% on your policy. Like, most people's head would blow up realizing how many returns you've had on just one policy.
But I also was smart, and I said, you know what? Whatever I make in my TD Ameritrade, I'm going to recycle and recapture 7% of that money. So whatever my gains were, I recycled and recaptured that and put it back into my banking policy. And then I just basically take the money in, and then I just move it right back out. I just keep taking money and moving it. Just like yours. Yours was wheels on the boat, or I'm sorry, wheels on the bus. Mine, I'm doing the same thing. I'm just moving money in and out, and here's the flow. Okay? Money coming back right there, $105. Money going out. That's all I'm doing is I'm moving money in, money out, money in, money out. And this recycle recapture was $105 a month. That's it. That's all we do here, folks. Like, that's all Sodi was doing with his. He saw a video that I did, just like you guys are all seeing this video. It all starts somewhere, and this is where it began for Sodi. This is where it began for me way back when I started this. So Sodi, thanks for joining me. I know you got to go get some trades done. The market just closed, so I think you got to do your recap. So thanks so much for joining us for the Tale of Two Traders, and I hope everybody enjoyed this.
Thank you so much for having me, Chris. It's been a pleasure, and I can't wait to see what people watching this do with this. This is such a powerful tool. This is such a powerful instrument, and you've done an amazing job to bring this, shed light on this for everybody. So I can't wait to see what people do with this policy and how they can really take control of their money again. So thanks a lot.
I think it's going to be amazing, man. But now for all of you watching this, now it's your time. It's your decision. It's time for you to make a decision in your life of whether or not you're going to keep doing what you're doing, or are you going to change that one thing that the Tale of Two Traders changed many years ago and not too long ago, and look what the change resulted in. So we'll see you guys on the dark side of the Tale of Two Traders.
Get out of here. I'm not banking with you, not you, not you. Nope, nope. I'm gonna be my own bank. I'm not banking with you. Uninterrupted compound interest. Start your infinite banking policy today. Bye-bye, big banks. I'm starting